Welcome back to Between the Takes. I am here with Eric. Oh shoot, I didn't even ask. Eric McGarry?
Yep, right
okay,
on.
Cool. I'm batting 100 right now because that's like three or four people recently that I've been like, hey, I don't know how to say your name, but I'm going to try on camera. This is the worst time to do it, but here we are. But yeah, welcome. Thank you so much, Eric, for coming on. You hit me up. You were here with Rob Tate a couple months ago. Yep. You're actually the second person out of that session to come back now, which is great because Nicole Safos came back through. I love when I get to meet people like that sort of way, having you on again, because it's just talent on talent coming through, and it's so much fun. But yeah, welcome. Thank you so much. Please introduce yourself. Let them know who you are.
Yep. So I'm Eric McGarry. I'm a jazz guitarist and composer here in Philadelphia. Actually, I shouldn't totally just box myself in. I'm a guitarist in Philadelphia. As he said, I played on the Rob Tate session. That's Rob. Check him out. He's like an Americana singer.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm kind of going in all different kind of routes of music in my freelance avenue as a guitarist, but my own music kind of falls in the modern jazz, improvised music umbrella.
Yeah, it was. It's such a beautiful sounding session. Like it's one of those types of sessions where I don't want to spend too much time mixing it because I don't want to twist how it sounds. Because especially with the musicians you have, which shout out to them. They sounded amazing. What were their names again?
We had Colin Killian on the drums, Josh Klamka on keyboards, and Sandy Eldred on the bass. Awesome musicians. But just the dynamics and the abilities with which they played, I'm going to try not to do too much to the mixes because I want what you guys are doing naturally to really shine and pop out like you'd expect from jazz. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just so much fun. What was it with how you tied into playing with Rob Tate and even playing some of those wedding gigs that we had talked about before earlier? How was it you found yourself kind of settling on jazz?
I kind of was settled on jazz before kind of doing all that kind of stuff. I went to University of the Arts as a jazz guitar performance major, and I kind of fell in love with jazz music there. Like, I wasn't totally pursuing that when I was like 17, 16, or like before I went to college. I was really into classic rock and blues music, like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, and the Grateful Dead. So I was kind of getting into that improvisational aspect of the guitar, like playing all that blues rock kind of stuff. But when I found myself at University of the Arts, I was actually a music tech major, and I switched to guitar performance. I was taking non-major lessons with this amazing guitarist, Ben O'Neill, and I came in, I wanted to learn jazz, and he showed me a bunch of records, and I went back to my dorm room, and I was like, damn, I want to sound like that. I want to do that. And I switched majors and really hunkered down and really pursued that jazz guitar route for a really long time. And graduating, you find yourself just trying to work. And I love all music. Like, I was still listening and checking out a bunch of stuff in all different genres, and found myself just kind of meeting different people and different opportunities opening with different kinds of singer-songwriters and genres, and kind of got that ball rolling of, that's kind of how I ended up playing with Rob, is started doing a church gig, and actually played church with Rob. So that's how I got in his band. So yeah, like, it kind of started with jazz, and then just through being in Philadelphia and being within that music community, you start to meet everyone who's kind of doing something else, especially out of school. Just because you go to jazz school, you find some people never really do this jazz standard or straight ahead route again, but they're still musicians and they're still putting out incredible bodies of work. And you just, through knowing them and being in this amazing scene, you just kind of find yourself spreading out to a lot of different communities.
You find yourself everywhere. Yeah, that's a good way to describe Philly, because you never. I think I've hit so many different genres, and I know I haven't even hit everything I could in this city on the sessions, which is beautiful. And the fact that all of you are intertwined with each other just shows your ability as musicians to be able to play all those different styles.
Yep.
Yeah. You were talking about playing with all these other people so much on their own records. You do have your own record.
Yeah. Yep.
What was the name of that one again?
So I have an album out called As I Am, As You Were. It was put out going on almost 3 years ago. I did it down at Turtle Studios. Ross Bellenwald of Muscle Tough produced it. that has a different lineup than what I was playing with today, a different band. And they really brought that music to life. You can hear it streaming everywhere. It's available for purchase on Bandcamp. I'm really proud of how that record came out. It was like my first time in the studio as a leader. I've done studio work for other people's projects, but that was my first time kind of behind the wheel, piloting that ship and trying to like get it to come out the way I want it to.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I listened through it before you came because I was really curious when you hit me up. You're like, hey, I do like jazz instrumental, and I was like, oh sure, yeah, I'll check it out. And I listened to it and I'm like, oh, he needs to get on immediately. And of course we ran into scheduling conflicts, but we got you here. The album's incredible. It sounds really good. Shout out to, what was the name of the studio? Turtle. Shout out to Turtle. You guys killed it. The production sounds great. Musicians sound great. A couple of the songs that you did today are not on that album, correct?
Yes, yeah. I did one from that record in the session Monocarpia, and the other two were tunes that I written in the past couple of years that I really just come back to, and I really like. They're just easy to play with, especially when you're just getting a band together. When you don't have that much rehearsal time, or you're maybe like, I go through waves of how busy I'm doing my own stuff. And like, especially when you're coming out of a wave of maybe like doing that freelance work, they're just tunes that, like you put in the set list, people are going to read them right, and they're going to feel good, and you're going to feel good playing over them. And I just wanted to document them, get a good recording of them, and toy with them, and like maybe see down the line if I want to put them on like an upcoming release or whatnot.
I like that. Speaking of which, do you have any plans for an upcoming release?
Yeah, in 2026, I would love to do album number 2. It's kind of my goal for that year. Kind of part of why I'm like even doing it, like reaching out to you to like want to like pursue these kind of things under my own name when I've been doing so much freelance, is to just get the dust off, see what works, get a band together, start playing that material, start learning that material, and just have it documented and have that content as you're going forward to record. So some of these songs might be on it. I have like a backlog of a lot of music in that since it came out almost 3 years ago that I've written since, that I'm like, I just need to find the time to play these and see if they're album material, or if they're like, or if they really important to me is if they complement each other on the record.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Do they tell the same narrative almost? Like, do they feel like they belong on a disc together? I still think of records in terms of actual physical media.
As you should, honestly. I think that's a better way to think about music.
Yeah. Like, I got some tunes I've written still in college, and I'm like, I would love to record these, but they're like really straight ahead swing stuff, like great melody. I really enjoy them. But then when you put them on a record of the kind of stuff we did today, they just kind of like really stick out, like they don't belong. So I'm kind of, just trying to like play all this music that I've written and see where that narrative between track to track actually kind of can exist.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's a theme to your first album that came out, the As I Am, As You Were?
Yeah, there's a loose narrative. Like, I think the music came first and kind of was written over the course of a couple years. And they were like the standout songs that I was really playing and like really kind of complemented together. And like when I was looking at like that record and those songs and those song titles, somehow they all kind of involve some kind of element of like change, whether like in the natural world, like there's a song called Tides, Monocarpia, that kind of comes from the term monocarpic, which involves flowers, and it all kind of had this loose narrative of like, oh, all these titles have something to kind of do with something with change, whether in like the physical sense or the spiritual sense or natural sense. So there's a loose narrative of like the theme of change, but take that with a grain of salt, because the music came first. I wasn't sitting there thinking about all that when I was writing. They were notes that I was playing on the guitar.
On the instrumental side, it's so much, not to put a jab at music with vocals, but I feel like with instrumental music, it's so much more fun to have themes to your music, or even just ideas of comprehension just behind the music. There was a guy on not that long ago, Carter Fox, who is all instrumental, almost like lo-fi space. Like his themes and the way he goes about his music. They were talking about how they had one called Cosmic Microwave, that everything he has written is built around like the idea of space or a different thing they found in space, or I think it was called like Cosmic Sunrise, or no. I forget what the name of the song was, but he essentially had his keyboardist come in, play, and he told him, all right, you just made a cup of space coffee, you're walking outside, you're watching the sun come up over the horizon on some alien planet. Yeah. What are you going to play? And he hits record, and that's what they did. And I feel like it's the same thing. Like you're saying that like there is the change vibe in your music. It's not necessarily specifically that, but you get to have so much more, not, I guess, looseness to your ideas versus the vocals of a song being so focused and pinpointed on a specific emotion.
Yeah, I agree. That can totally be the case. Like I have some friends though who write in that very strict manner where there's it's instrumental, but there's a deep meaning or like event that is inspiring that song. And I have some that definitely fit in that ballpark, but you can totally just in that instrumental side a little more, you know, as you're saying, like you find something you like or a sound and you're more or less chasing that sound rather than chasing like any lyrical content or emotive content. Like that, where does that note maybe want to lead to that note, or does that chord want to lead to that? What happens if I change it to that? And maybe that's a bit of my composition process, is a lot more of that sound based, like chasing. And then like as you're doing it, it kind of creates a mood or a texture or a vibe. And then you're like, oh wait, that kind of like narrows down my choices of what note wants to lead to that, because I'm kind of creating that atmosphere. Yep.
That's so cool. I love hearing about the writing process especially from the instrumentalist side, because there's infinite possibilities, but then you're talking about how the one choice you make narrows it to certain possibilities, and then your next one will open different avenues that you can go to. It's so it's just so interesting to me.
And that's
I love hearing about it.
I'm trying to be a lot better at. I'm trying to write faster these days. In undergrad, it would take me so long sometimes to finish a chart, like because I would write some like 2-3 pagers, not like a typical 32 or 12 bar form kind of song, and I would redraft sections because like, you know, like one choice might take you to a different direction, and then you're playing it and you're like, but no, it's not it, and then you rewrite, and I would just sit on ideas for so long. And even talking about album number 2, a lot of these songs that I like am chasing to start playing and developing are ideas that I've written really long ago that I've just had on my hard drive that were unfinished. Literally finished a chart last week for a gig. We played on Friday night at Bourbon and Branch, and played a lot of that music I'm working on. And I just had to finish this chart. Like I've sat on this one like 4-bar phrase, nothing else, for probably almost 5 years. And I'm like, just get it done. Like it's not rocket science. Just make decisions, chase it down. Like,
yeah.
But my old way, like, always prevented me from like that. Is like, but there could be a better solution. Find the better solution, and then I would just never get it done.
I mean, it's really easy to overcomplicate yourself too and overthink it. I mean, even thinking of songs like what is it? So What? It's a super simple line, repeated in like two different chords, and that's it. But it's jazz classic.
Yeah, and there's so much music in it.
Yeah,
like that's an amazing track. That whole record, because even just listening to them play on it, like Miles' solo is so perfect and melodic, and then you hear how the rest of the band interprets playing over those 2 changes. And there's so much color and so much sound in just those 2 chords. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's so cool. You were saying Bourbon and Branch. I was curious, where do you take gigs for a band like this, doing the jazz instrumental stuff, especially in Philly? I know that there is places for it, but where do you, like, what kind of gigs do you normally do? Because I can't imagine you're just playing like a venue and people are coming just for that. I'm sure they are, but at the same time, I feel like it's harder to market like you would like a pop punk band or something being at a venue.
That's an interesting world. Because Bourbon Branch, we played like 2 sets of my music, and that was a really cool spot. There's a great trombone player, Bill Sauerman, who runs a Thursday night jazz series and a First Friday jazz series at Bourbon Branch. And it's kind of, still like a restaurant bar gig kind of vibe, but it kind of sets it up in that way that it feels more like a show that you can walk in and like rip your stuff, rather than if you're playing another kind of jazz gig around the city where it's just kind of like background music. You're kind of supposed to play some standards, like you're back there. You could slip in some original songs, but like you try not to get too weird, or maybe they won't hire you back. So you have to tiptoe along that line. But like to play this kind of stuff, like you got Chris's Jazz Cafe down in Center City. Cellar Dog is a new jazz spot. It's kind of a bar vibe, but the way they have it kind of still set up, like they have like a dedicated stage and backline that like it feels more like you're hired to perform rather than you're hired to be in the corner.
Yeah, because I feel like with this type of music, it's so easy for most people to just think of it as background music, and that's it.
And it's not, and like you have to find in Philly you have to find it. There's a lot of spaces that are on a kind of more on the DIY that really promote this. Like Not So Latin is a house venue down in South Philly. They're amazing. They got a great sound system, great setup, great backline, and you come there to perform. It's donation. That's another spot to really try to like play this kind of music. I've a friend who is working on reopening their venue, Nostalgia Fishtown, which hopefully will be back.
That's hopefully another Nostalgia's back. Yep. I know a lot of people have played there, and I was hoping to get in there for a show right when I saw that news.
Yep, I know they're in process, so hopefully it will be back in the near future, because that was another great jazz spot.
Yeah, they seem just like a good venue in general. There were so many experimental shows happening there. Amaya, a couple other people who had been on the sessions before had shows there.
Yep,
and that was crazy.
Yeah, Joe and Morgan run an amazing spot there, and it should be back. Yeah.
Whenever you guys are back, we're coming. We're coming. Speaking of shows, though, you also run your own series, correct?
Yeah, and kind of it's another spot to like see live jazz in a performance setting, not so much of a background music setting. It's called Free Range Music. It takes place typically on the last Thursday of each month at the First Unitarian Church.
Classic venue in Philly.
Amazing spot. And it's sponsored by Philly Music Factory, which is a school that I teach for. They're partnered with like Urban Movement Arts, which is a wonderful dance school. And we typically present 2 bands in an evening. We try to make it as artist focused as possible. So we kind of are doing a similar thing here. We are recording the sets, video and audio, and kind of also doing a little brief interview kind of thing. So we're kind of doing the same kind of thing there. And we're just trying to make a really accessible night out to hear improvised music. We only charge a $5 cover. And with that, we have a cooler of drinks and usually a couple pizzas that are all included. We're just trying to make it a hang. We kind of joke that it's a better deal than a citywide.
Honestly, that's crazy. They get all that included.
That's all thanks to Philly Music Factory. Vince Johnson is a wonderful organizer there who really believes in promoting community. So he really helps fund this amazing event. And we have one more for this year in November, and then we'll be back in 2026 with a whole nother calendar year of monthly music out of the First Unitarian.
That's crazy. I need to get to that then, because that sounds like a lot of fun. Even just to go and listen, just sit in the background with a slice of pizza, just listening. I've been hoping to find stuff like that, and now I need to go there, because that's the type of thing that I want to see more of in Philly. Like as much as like I like what I do, like I want other people to be doing things as well. Like I can't be the only thing in Philly. The people who see it as competition or like they need to be the only thing, it's not healthy for the area.
Totally not. When you're all pursuing the same kind of goal, you need to work together and like find that way that each series or each production company can find a way to benefit each other and like enrich the scene rather than try to like sneak around each other's back.
Yeah. And it's not even the same thing because we're all doing our own sort of niche thing too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is amazing. Like everyone can go somewhere for their specific flavor.
Yep.
I love that. Well, Eric, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to have links to as much of that as I can find. And if I miss anything, I'm sure he will let me know and he will send me links to have up because all of that sounds incredible and everyone needs to hear about that, especially the series that you guys are running over there at First Unitarian. Thank you so much for coming on. Where can they keep up with everything about your group?
Yeah. I am on Instagram at Eric McGarry Music. And there I got a link tree on there. Everything you need to know is right there. I have my own website, just ericmcgarry.com. And those are the two main platforms that I kind of use to like put the word out. I have a Facebook. I don't really use my Facebook artist page. It just collects dust on there.
Tie it into Instagram and they get the same posts. Yeah, it works.
but Instagram and my website, best way to keep in contact and see where I'm at, where I'm playing around town.
Awesome. Well, like I said, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for bringing these amazing musicians out that you had with you. Like I said, links will be down in the description for you guys. Please be sure to leave a like, comment, and please subscribe for more content like this. If you guys have any questions for Eric, please leave them down below. Hopefully, we can get some questions to him and he can answer them for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time.